This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington Wolves match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss rugby league pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on there? Can you hear me?
Can't see you.
Well, you can't see me. What's going on? I tell you, hey, gremlins are at work this evening. What is going on? That is just not good enough. What is going on?
To fill some space, I'd forgotten all about the air guitar on Saturday night.
Well, there you go. There was a bit of air guitar. There you go. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to Super League Raw.
Good evening.
I'll just carry on playing my end and see what I can do. Great to see everybody. Hope you're well, or not see me. If that's, of course, that is the case at this moment in time. Let's have a quick change around, see what we've got, see if we can do anything. What is going on? Steph, right, I'm going to go out. I'm going to come back in. So you're going to fill in, boys. Fill in.
All right, okay. Just a great night, a great day at the grand final. Great night, great afternoon and night at the Bluebell. Big thanks to them for sponsoring us. But what a great day that was, Steph. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
First half was good. The second half I'm a bit fuzzy with at the moment, but no, it was a really good day. Great to see so many of the people who were there in the chat already tonight as well.
Exactly. And congratulations to our whole K contingent. I don't know how they stayed so calm. I'd have been a blubbering wreck if that had been Warrington. I'd have been inconsolable. I think, so fair play to our whole KR lot. Yeah, I think Dave's got my old laptop.
Something's going on.
Revenge is a sweet dish.
Genuinely, I mean, I was just on a moment ago, wasn't I? A moment ago. That's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Anyway, Greg, a very, very proud day for you. Talk through this one, mate. Over to you, son.
Oh, yeah. She's officially a saint. She's been a saint for a few weeks now. But the official pictures were sent out yesterday. So, she's signed for the Saints. She's in their pathway development with 4 of her culture teammates. It's also good to see that some of her teammates have also signed for Warrington as well. So big shout out to those who've done that. Yeah, really proud. It's as a Wire fan, a very, very proud day for her to sign for Saints and with their development pathway for at least the next 12 months. So yeah, brilliant.
For those who don't know, she is Reggie's daughter, Zoe.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. That just everybody knows Zoe.
Happy days. I'm there. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello and welcome. Yeah, I mean, honestly, hey, Gremlins, my end. That's the first time ever. What is going on?
Last chance saloon there, Dave.
And this is the first one I've had. There you go. Never mind. To everybody, all the very best and very good evening to you all. But you know, mate, incredible news. Of course, have you built the shed for outside?
I've got the hazmat suit waiting at the door when she gets home, mate.
Outstanding. We have to keep minimum standards. I hope she washed her hands after she handled that pen. But that's by the by. Delighted for her. Absolutely delighted. And I'm sure the whole community is delighted for Zoe as well. All hard work, paying off. Great to see. I'm sure everybody's having a go at me in the chat, are they? Maybe not.
No. They're being very kind to you.
There you go. There you go. Bazza Kingston. Evening, boys. Here's a 5 for that double I promised you. Yeah, exactly, Bazza. Yeah, where was me double? So I'm supposed to be getting a double single malt at the end of the grand final. Well, there you go. Good evening to Nigel Bennett, Freddie McGilvery, Craig Forth. We've got a lot of people tuning in tonight. Is there a draw later? Is there a draw for some tickets tonight? I think there might be. So actually, tickets up for grabs. We've got a good show for you. We're going to celebrate, of course, what was a fantastic grand final. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about IMG. We're going to talk about the England squad and everything in between. Now, Joel can't be with us tonight because he's got a meeting on a Thursday, and of course, I moved this back so we could deal with IMG. Why are we doing it? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? That way we can see it. Don't tell her I did this, but goodbye, Zoe. Yes. So yeah, we'll have a little chat for a few bits and pieces. I mean, Joel can't be with us this evening, and call me cynical, boys. Call me cynical, but there might be a reason for that. Let's see how we did in the 2025 season, starting with the Challenge Cup, and Joel went for Salford. Then again, we can't laugh, Greg, because I went for Catalan, you went for the Y. You were close, to be fair.
I got a finalist.
Yeah, you got a finalist, and of course, Steph came flying through. So well done, Mr. Sale. You got the Challenge Cup one spot on. League Leaders Shield. Only the Nixon didn't back KR. He backed Wigan. All the rest of us went KR, so we all got that right. This, of course, before a ball or had been kicked or passed or whatever, we all went KR. We felt it was going to be their year, and it was. Right, boys, you might want to turn away now. The only one of us who said that KR was going to win the grand final was...
You.
It was me. Everybody else went Warrington or Wigan.
Blimey, lads. That must have been one drunken
show. Dear me. Dear me.
I'll take 2 out of 3. That's not bad.
Wow. Yeah, Greg going for Wigan. At least, again, they were finalists, Greg. You were close.
I got finalists, so I didn't
well, it weren't Steph or Joel's best day at the office, that was it, Warrington, but never mind. And then the Man of Steel. Can you remember who you went for the Man of Steel, Steph?
Not a clue.
Well, again,
I went for Duffy, I think.
Yeah, the reason why Joel isn't here this evening, and Greg, Steph, you were just as bad because you both went to look for Luke Keary and the Catalan Dragons. Ooh, I went Bevan French, and yes, you went Matt Duffy, Greg. Not our finest hour. It would have to be.
No.
But there you go. Yeah, call me cynical. That might be why Joel's decided to not be here.
Shocker there, Joel.
Salford for the cup, Wire for the grand final, and Luke Keary is Man of Steel. Oh, Joel, mate, this one's for you. All the very best.
All the very best.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Great titles tonight, boys. Great titles from the grand final. More about that in a bit, but fantastic, great titles, wonderful stuff. We've got loads to get through. I might not have picked up all the news either today because I've been putting this together, and I've picked a bit up on the fly, but not probably everything. So what I would say to you, gentlemen, if I have missed anything, then by all means let me know, and we can put that right. Right, okie dokie. Let's get into this. Banging or hanging?
This is what would Oliver say at Super League Raw. So I know I normally talk about the rugby, but this week I'd just like to mention how good of a community Super League Raw is. When I first met Dave and Reggie at Magic Weekend in Newcastle, I was quite low on confidence as I have just been dropped out of my rugby team. But now as time's gone on, I think I've got more and more confidence, and I'd just like to thank everyone at Super League Raw for what they've done for me, especially Dave, Reggie, Joel and Steph for doing weekly and everything they do at Super League Raw. I really appreciate everything they do for everyone here. What do you think, Super League Raw?
Now, I don't mind telling you, boys, when I saw that, I welled up. Can't hear you, Reggie.
What a guy.
Reggie's getting problems now because I can't hear Reggie. What's going on?
I know, I had voices and I had to turn my sound off. Oh, mate, Ollie, you've reduced the hard man of rock and roll to tears there, mate. Thank you very much. Really, really, thank you.
What a man.
Mate.
What a man.
What a kid
is.
Yeah.
And I would say to Ollie, thank you, because do you know what, Ollie? I think that you've had a brilliant season, mate. I really, really do. I think you've really grown. I think some of the, what would Oliver say, this year have been absolutely superb. So on behalf of myself and, of course, all the lads, a big thank you for you for putting the effort in every week. And unlike the boys with their predictions, getting your video in on time.
Now, Ollie, some of the questions you've asked.
Just on that as well, I know we've not done our members awards or whatever, but I think Ollie's definitely a contender for the young man of steel in Super League.
The young Super League Raw man of steel, Oliver. Well, you never know. You never know. Absolutely fine. So, well, hanging and banging, we'll do a few. I picked up on a couple. First of all, James Bentley leaving Leeds today. 2 years left on his contract, I'm led to believe. Left by mutual consent. What's happened there?
He's probably got a spat his dummy out because he's not been picked for England.
Well, you're not the coach, mate. I mean, he'd have been a shoo-in.
You know what? It's. I don't know. We can't speculate on things like this, can we? It probably will come out in the wash. But the big speculation is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that he's actually coming to Warrington. That's what I've heard today.
Wow.
So you know, it would be unfair of me to speculate on what might have happened. Because it's such a thing that's happened today. You could speculate.
It was interesting how they said they were going to support him.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. That was
they might be driving him to Warrington.
Paying for his Uber.
Yeah. Well, we do hope he's all right, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. Just having a bit of sport. But keeping at Warrington, Steve McNamara. New coach.
Great news.
Taking over from Martin Gleeson. Go on, Greg. Great news.
Absolutely fantastic news. Yeah, I think it's. I think when rumours started circulating that Burgess might be on his way, I was kind of hoping that McNamara might be in the frame. He's got international experience. He's got Australian experience. He turned Catalans around. He did a great job at Catalans. Yeah, it went sour at the end, but coaches have a shelf life. Look at Tony Smith at Warrington, and I think this is a great signing because I think he'll keep Burgess on his toes as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is Warrington putting a succession plan in place for when Sam does eventually leave, which is looking like at the end of his contract. Well,
it probably means. Well, it's an interesting one because, of course, Sam Burgess was saying in his post-season press conferences at Warrington that he'd be happy to stay on. I would say, Steph, that this appointment of McNamara, that's highly unlikely.
Well, Steve wants to keep his hand in, doesn't he? And maybe if another opportunity as a head coach came up elsewhere, he's still got his hand in the game. And for that reason, what I'd like to think from a Warrington view, like you've alluded to there with the succession planning, if Burgess does go to the NRL or back to Australia or whatever he wants to do, Steve's a ready-made head coach. That's great. And also he can influence signings now. So they kind of still his players or he's had a say in them, which also makes a difference. So it's quite an un-Warrington thing to do, but it may be that they're planning ahead a little bit. which is fantastic news, and he will bring a lot, to Warrington. He's got respect straight away for what he's done in the game, but he's also got that NRL link as well, and he will have contacts down under and stuff. So this should hopefully be a really good move for Warrington, and I think it gives Sam someone to sound off to as well, and that experience, what Sam's not got, which Steve has, that could be invaluable for Warrington. So I think this is a really good and positive move for Warrington in what's been not a great season. I think this is probably the best news Warrington's had in a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, it's an absolutely banging appointment. Banging appointment. I mean, you can't knock the pedigree of Steve McNamara. And I think, we were saying when he was departed from Catalan that we felt it was very naughty. It wasn't respectfully done. I think it's a great move for Warrington. So well done on getting, let's be fair, a coach of real pedigree to come in and be a part of the coaching staff. And when you consider Richie Marshall's no slouch, so it's a good little setup that they've got there, no doubt about it.
Hopefully, yeah.
You're quite surprised, lads, that he's not gone for, not stuck around for like a director of rugby. Saying that though, he did say when I interviewed him that he prefers the dugout, didn't he? So I mean, would St. Helens have been looking at McNamara? I mean, a lot of rumour it's going to be Paul Rowley, or it appears to be Rowley their number one candidate. But is Paul going to edge his bets over the Ashes series? Because if it, we'll get to that later. But if it was to go wrong for Sean Wayne, could Paul Rowley be in the frame for England? And could that scupper Saints' chances of Paul Rowley?
Yeah, well, there's no rush for Paul. I don't think. He's had, probably the worst season he had. Some coaches have had bad seasons. Paul's had an horrific season, hasn't he? So, I don't think he does himself any harm by just going away from the game for a little bit and waiting for the right thing for him. But yeah, Saints, I think, would have been looking at McNamara. I think they'd have been stupid not to. But again, it's great news for Super League Raw because obviously Steve, friend of the show. So that should be great for next year in terms of bringing content to Super League Raw as well, because Steve's a stand-up guy and a lot of time for him, and he's got a lot of time for the show as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I think Warrington will be very clever in kind of getting in before Saints do. If Saints were considering Steve McNamara, they've been again very, very un-Warrington-like and acting and being proactive instead of reactive. Maybe the discontent among fans, the fact that the directors had to have a chat with everybody in the club has actually taken effect now. So we'd like to, as a Warrington fan, I'd like to think that the conversations that were had over the discontent of the fans is actually bearing fruit now.
We'll wait and see. In other news, maybe on the wind as well, KR rumour mill that Kalepi Tanginoa could be off. Wakefield Trinity is potentially his destination. I'll be honest, as a Warrington fan, I wouldn't mind Kalepi, I have to say.
No, I wouldn't. Me neither. But didn't he go from Wakefield? Is that right?
He went from Wakey, he did.
Yeah, he's probably... it's probably one of those moves where he's more comfortable. We've seen a lot of that in the last few seasons where players have moved across from one team where they spent a lot of time, a couple of seasons, and then gone back because they feel more comfortable. He's probably more chance of, got more game time chance at Wakefield as well, I would have thought. So, yeah, if that's true, a decent move.
I have to say, Steph, I think of all the, the treble winners, and I'll say that again for our Robins contingent, the treble winners. Since Martin's come back from injury, he hasn't had a look in really, has he? Which is really surprising, considering how well he went in 24.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. I mean, we waxed lyrical about Kalepi in terms of since he moved, from his time at Wakefield and then his move to KR. He's been nothing short of brilliant. But something's definitely gone on there. Whether him and Willie have had a falling out, there's disagreement, I don't know. But his game time was limited towards the back end of the season. And I don't think that was just down to other players coming back in. I think there's potentially something gone on there because Willie, from what I hear of Willie Peters, is he doesn't stand for any messing about or disgruntlement. And, I'm not saying that's definitely what's happened, but it's strange someone of Kalepi's calibre and how he was playing earlier in the season to just come out of favour.
I mean, people in the chat, I don't know, you're closer to Bazza Kingston saying it's an attitude problem. And thanks to Kelly McCourt, who has got us a beer for this to celebrate the treble all the very best to Kelly. Look, I mean, Kalepi Tanginoa might see himself as a starting 17. And you know, some players take well to being out the loop, others don't. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Carla Colley says she really rates Kalepi Tanginoa. I think it was Billy Ingham who said about McNamara, do I see it as an upstairs role? No, I don't. Again, go back to the interview we did. He did say he wanted to stay more in the dugout.
And Gary Chambers is established in that role now, so they're not going to replace Gary Chambers.
Yes, so there you go. So that's all I've seen in terms of hangings and banging. So Kalepi Tanginoa back to Wakefield, I would say that's banging for Wakefield Trinity. I really would.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a great move for Waker. Quite a few bangings in there, but not an awful lot more because today, of course, has been pretty much the, well, I would say the Boxing Day to the Christmas Day that was yesterday. That was IMG because, you know, I mean, it's not, isn't it great to see that embargoes in Super League mean something? Just going to put that out there straight away. I mean, you know, before we get into the scoring, I mean, I'm sure you saw my clip today. What a missed opportunity. What an absolute missed opportunity. So, you know, they could do some real, I mean, you know, the relationship with Sky. Wouldn't you have thought they'd have lined this up for 10 o'clock on Sky, big announcement, the IMG rating scores? No. It got the first time it got mentioned on Sky was about midday, and at least 3 or 4 minutes was all about Salford.
Yeah,
and
negativity again.
And the person on Sky Sports who was interviewing Brian Carney pretty much saying, you know, the sport, what's all this about? Like making fun of IMG and licensing and this, that, the other. And you just sit there and you go, what's going on? And then you see people posting pictures. And when I say people, I mean influencers in the game posting pictures of Odsal in disrepair. Welcome back to Super League. Yes, we're all aware of what Odsal looks like, but it's an IMG grading. The stadium is one thing. They need to get that sorted. Of course they do. But the last thing we need is people who hopefully are paid. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, this is open for criticism. And you know, we'll have a good chat about Bradford in a minute. But for me, the optics, why go there? I mean, do you agree with that, lads? Why go there? Why plaster social media full of pictures of Odsal?
I think just to address Sky, why would Sky bother with it when everybody knows it beforehand anyway? Because it's been leaked by all the journalists. You know, talk about shoot ourselves in the foot. There's nobody shoots this game, and everyone, you know, the journalists are worst for calling the RFL for the way they do things. There's nobody shoots this game in the foot more than our own journalists, and they do because there was no surprise this morning. Everyone knew Bradford were in. I knew Lee were finishing 5th. I knew that Catalan had dropped to 7th. You know, it's crazy. You know, we that was a great opportunity, like you say, for it to be on prime time, 10 o'clock, Sky News, whatever it was, in, you know, Media City or whatever, with Brian Carney there, and it being this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. You know, make a real big song and dance of it. But no, we let our journalists, who were meant to be, I'm assuming, embargoed, just release what they want.
24-hour embargo, and yet everybody knew well before today at 10 o'clock what was going on.
Crazy. Took all the suspense out of it. Everybody knew what was going to happen. I mean, I'm amazed it's not come out today who the 2 other clubs are.
Probably will.
Well, some have been reporting London are in, so that's already been. I've seen some journalists reporting that already. So,
well, there you go. And you know, and look, bottom line is, you know, I get stuff that's embargoed. You know that. And it stays embargoed. You know, it just stays embargoed. I don't launch it. I don't talk about it. I don't do anything. I'll wait for the official announcements. I believe that that's how the game should be run, that you get an official announcement. Don't get me wrong. And then, you know, you have got the opportunity to get all your social media ready for 10 o'clock. And all you've got to do, and, you know, let's be fair, I do it. You can set your times. You can do all the prep, everything ready, all time to go live at 10 o'clock. For those who really care that much about going first, you know, 9:59 and 30 seconds, if they really want to, and just have it all ready to go. So once the official announcement goes, it's straight onto their pages. No dramas. with that. That's happy days. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity. We could have so much razzmatazz around it. We could have, and again, rather than somebody having 10 minutes and a pop at how it's all scored and this, that, the other, as you say, to have a proper 10-minute slot on Sky Sports where we explain what it's all about, why it's there, why it's important to the game, then announce the 12 clubs, and then say, join us again tomorrow at 10 o'clock when we will be announcing teams 13 and 14. Lovely stuff, but no.
Yeah, they do that with football. They probably do that with rugby union as well.
Yeah.
And cricket.
The live cameras. Put the live cameras of the German and stuff in the ground and celebrate.
I agree with you more, Steph. And Dave, massive opportunity missed. And as you say, the whole point of an embargo on things like this are for the press to get everything ready to press a button and to roll. The problem is with this, sometimes leaks are allowed to try and dampen any controversy that might come of it. And leaks are kind of allowed to happen in the industry. So, but yeah, I agree with you both. It could have been such a massive reveal. We've gone to 14 clubs. We know Salford were probably, unfortunately, more than likely not going to feature in Super League next season. You're right. Cameras at the grounds, the big unveiling. Yeah, a huge missed opportunity.
Well, here it is. Here is the and forgive me, the ones that are great to see. We're just going to concentrate on the top half. I have to say though, nice to see Girl Vikings in the total list. I think that was great to see today, and let's push them well. Stop rattling paper. I was doing that. It's very disappointing. But yeah, here's the list, and Hull KR, of course, off the back of winning the treble, have gone right up to number one. So many congratulations to KR. Then it gets interesting after that. I'm gonna, So Leeds Rhinos. I mean, there'll be a lot of Wigan fans, and I get this, and I do get this. There'll be a lot of Wigan fans asking the question: how on this earth can a team who were quadruple winners last year, and infrastructure-wise and social media-wise and all the rest of it, from the outside looking in, I mean, we haven't got the detail, of course we haven't. But from the outside looking in, you would expect that Wigan rank very favourably against like a Leeds and Saints. So when you look at their success in the last couple of seasons, we'll be asking, how on earth are Wigan Warriors fourth, Leeds Rhinos second, and Saints third? And it's very difficult to really break. Without the breakdown, those Wigan fans are left without answers, aren't they?
Yeah, and the interesting one here is that Wigan are nearly a point off Leeds, and we know in the way that the chairman talk about the IMG, every single 0.01 of a point counts in this. So 1 point is huge. So I mean, some clubs do release the breakdowns of what they've scored and where they've scored them. I think it should be mandatory that all clubs do that because you get what happens is you get the speculation like you're doing. Now, these scores will be legitimate. The clubs would have challenged them if they weren't. So, and it's very, very transparent in the way it's done and the evidence that the clubs have got to produce to do it. So, I've no doubt these are correct, but I'd love to know how Wigan are a full 1 point away. Now, obviously, Wigan have dropped a full point because they had 0.75 for the grand final win last year and 0.25 for the Challenge Cup win. But even with that taken off, that for Leeds and Wigan, that's a reflective score because there's no bonus points for either of them this time. So they are still a full point nearly behind Leeds, which is a bit weird. So I'd love to see, like you say, everyone being forced to publish every score and by each pillar that they've got.
Yeah, does it not have anything to do with the fact that they share with Wigan Athletic?
Well, we were talking about this today, and I would say no, because the owner of Wigan is the owner of both clubs.
Yeah.
So
I'm just
and like I say, this is what I mean. All of this is open to speculation without the publishing. I agree with Steph. I think that for those of us who would do the hard graft for the members and we get into the detail and report, and I'd quite happily do that and report the high level. This is why, but without the full documents, we can't see why it is. But it is odd from the outside looking in that Wigan are sitting fourth behind Leeds and Saints when you look at infrastructure, when you look at squads, when you look at performance on field, which we know it's not about. For me, they look okay on social, and all the rest of it. Fandom, again, it's very hard to to see where they've fallen down on that. It's very, very odd. It's very, very odd indeed.
Yeah, just on that as well, just to go the other way as well, obviously with Lee increasing their score now, there's only a gap of 0.04 between Lee and Wigan, both without any bonus points. So that's just a true reflection of where the clubs are at the moment. And that, I mean, it's great for Lee, but again, Wigan will be saying, how are we only that ahead of Lee?
But the thing is though, Steph, if you had a scoreboard that was up to standard and you owned your own ground, you'd be above them.
I think just the scoreboard would have done it.
But so there's two. But again, as a Wigan fan, for Wigan fans out there now, just think about the gravity of what I've just said. So had Lee Leopards have had a scoreboard that was up to standard and owned their own stadium, which Steph always has said is not a bad thing that they don't, and I get that, but it does count towards IMG that you do, they would be above Wigan. And again,
forget owning the stadium. Forget owning the stadium. Just the scoreboard.
I understand that, but I'm trying to fan it out a bit, mate. Yeah. So in terms of this, as Wigan fans, again, you're looking at that as a Wigan fan and going, how can that be? And we haven't got an answer for you. I don't know. I'd need to see the full breakdown of all of these teams to understand that myself, because I do find that very odd. Very odd. Yeah. Anyway, in other news, Warrington Wolves have treaded water. In fact, before we do this, let's just look at just taking obviously what you're looking at, because obviously Bradford Bulls have done a right job. So if we actually go to the next graphic, where I've actually included 2024 in full, so you can see there Bradford Bulls were 16th. We'll get to Bradford in a minute, but Warrington, just stay with them. They were fourth last year at 16.27. They're now at 16.26. So they've treaded water. Now they must have had marginal gains somewhere, Greg, because their league position has gone down year on year. So there's been some improvement somewhere. But here's my question to you, a Warrington fan: how can Warrington Wolves, a team that has played up to cap, owns its own stadium, and I know everybody takes the mick out of him, and I get that, and they're there to be shot at, but how can the Warrington Wolves have been overtaken by KR and Lee? And that's no disrespect to either of those clubs, because what they've done is exceptional. They fully deserve to be where they are. But if you're going to put your primrose and blue blinkers on, you've got to be asking a question as a Warrington fan: how on earth can two teams who are playing Championship Rugby League come up and overtake us? It's a really sad indictment for Warrington, isn't it?
It's a very, very serious indictment for Warrington, and something that I've been discussing this week with certain people, in that, and this is not disrespectful to KR and to Lee in any way, shape or form, but two teams that have been relegated in recent history have now surpassed us with their off-field and on-field performance. Warrington have lost their women's Super League status for their women's team. So I mean, getting to the cup final is obviously might have been in their favour, in their credit. They've got a very, very strong foundation.
That doesn't add to any of the points.
No, they've got a very strong community foundation that works well in the community. They have got they've got good social media links. But you're completely right, Dave. We to be surpassed by teams that were not in Super League 4 or 5 years ago, and one of those teams is now grand final winners. One of those teams has won the Challenge Cup in the last 3 years. The way Hull KR sold out, was it every home game they sold out this season? Not every home game, most. Lee are near capacity every home game. Warrington's crowds, have clearly gone down this season. It's a bit of a mystery, and it is a concern for the club. I think it has to be a concern for the club.
It's a huge concern for the club. It has to be. And I say, it's not any disrespect to KR and Lee. They're doing what they need to do, and they won't be bothered one iota about Warrington or Wigan or Castleford or anyone. And why should they be? But for a team like Warrington, with the support they've got, with the infrastructure they've got, with the backer that they've got, maybe Stuart Middleton saw the writing on the wall, and maybe like you say, the worm is turning a bit, because this isn't good. If you're Warrington Wolves, this shouldn't be happening. Not
No.
in this shorter period anyway. It just shouldn't be happening. And I think that this has identified that Warrington, who have often been seen as, in some areas, a progressive club, they tread water this season whilst
They have.
they're getting their act together.
They have.
On that topic as well, beware of the likes of Wakey. You know, Wakefield Trinity. You know, they're right on the way. They're moving forward. I mean, Catalan Dragons, obviously, they've dropped. Well, actually, they've gone up, haven't they, year on year? Which again is interesting in terms of their points. FC would have expected to improve, and they have improved both on field and off. You can see it. I think I was very impressed with what they're doing at lower levels as well in the academy and the reserve. So again, I wasn't surprised to see that all FC had moved forward. Before we get to Bradford, because of course it'd been dead easy to get straight to Bradford. We are going to talk Bradford Bulls in a minute. But Steph, and again, another reason why Joel might not be here. How happy is Joel that Salford was in Super League this season, or have done what they've done in Super League this season? Because let's be fair, if Salford were not in dire straits, it'd be Huddersfield Giants outside of the top 12.
Yeah, quite possibly. Especially if Salford would have managed to get like the fourth place where they've been at, fifth place where they've been at for the last few seasons. So, I think it has been a bit of a saving grace for them. But also there's only so much they can do. This is the thing with IMG. Once you've done your ones like Bradford have done this year, your LED boards, your gantries, your extra seats, the rest of it is all then down to your fandom. So increasing attendances and your on-field performance. Both of those things, Huddersfield are struggling with, hence why they were where they're at. They do some great other things on their side, but yeah, to answer your question, they're extremely lucky that Salford's had that poor season and had the financial difficulties. Otherwise, it could well have been them in the 13th, 14th thing with Lord Kane. I still think even if it got to that, though, Huddersfield would have been kept in just on the pure fact of Ken Davey being the benefactor in their history in Super League with no financial issues. That would have been enough for Lord Kane to keep them in the 14-team Super League. But just from a funding point of view, more for Ken Davies' pocket, it's really good that they've managed to stay in that 12th position, because they would have lost £600,000 if they'd have dropped out.
Absolutely.
Significant amount of money.
Absolutely. So you can see there, Reggie, 14.65 is where Huddersfield are this year. If we actually now look at a more expanded 2025 result, we'll keep the top 12 from last year on screen. But 14, I say that, it was 14.65 for Huddersfield. Look at, Toulouse, 13.25, having won the championship. That's an interesting one. Have they gone backwards year on year? Yeah, pretty much, yes. Which again is a surprise. That is a surprise from a Huddersfield perspective. Of course, Salford, you can see there in 15th. London, 11.65. And quoting Steph a minute ago, Greg, rumours abound tonight, embargoed, that London are coming up.
Yeah, and I was talking to some Aussies on Sunday who had also heard that because of the Lockyer involvement, because of the signing of Gillard, that London are favourites to be one of those teams that will be in Super League this time tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, London will not be investing in players like that if they're going to be in the Championship. And that, again, no disrespect to the Championship. No. But, they're investing heavily, as are York Knights. And you've got to fear for Toulouse, despite the fact that they won the grand final. Yeah. You have to fear that they're going to miss out.
Yeah, it's lucky. I think it is looking that way. Like I said, the jungle drums are beating, and it would appear York and London are favourite. Are you hearing the same stuff?
Right. Well, I'm definitely hearing about London. I've not heard anybody definitely say York. Now, in relation to the signing and stuff, Toulouse probably thought they were outsiders a couple of weeks ago. That grand final's put the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit. And so they only found that out a week or so ago, didn't they? Or a week and a half ago. So that might be something to do with their signing things. But it's a tough one for me for this. And this is where I'm kind of glad Bradford are in on IMG and not the 13th, 14th Lord Kane, because you can't dispute what Bradford have done to the letter of the rules and to the same criteria that everybody else is signed up to. Bradford are the 10th best club, regardless of what you think of the stadium. So I'm glad they've got in that way, because if they'd have got in on the 13th, 14th team, which is open to a behind closed doors panel of people, then we'd have had a lot more speculation. For me, you can write justification for Toulouse, York and London with the Lord Kane thing. All have done good stuff, be that winning grand finals or be that having a new board and bringing Darren Lockyer on board. So each can have their own arguments and it's up to them. I think the main thing with these final two positions, because they're only getting half of central funding, is all around finances. So it's going to be whoever can justify to the RFL who can survive long term in Super League and have got the financial clout to do it, which again I don't think is a bad thing given how burnt we've just been in the past season by a Salford club with horrendous ownership and financial difficulties. I'm quite comfortable with the process if it is mainly around financial survivability. All three of these clubs prove that they can, in recent history, can either be at the top of the Championship or be in Super League and do quite well. So I have no problem with their on-field performance stuff, even though London have, finished 10th or whatever it is. We've already seen signs of what's going to go on there and the investment they're going to make in the playing staff. But it's all about the finances now and who's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Roach saying that Huddersfield has gone up. They have, mate. But again, I think Salford would have had a higher grading had they have had a normal season. So that's why I'm saying they would have been out of the 12, which is a concern. And maybe they kick up the backside that Huddersfield need, because what we do know, and I said this, Greg, earlier to Steph when he gave us a buzz, is that it's really interesting at the bottom of Super League, the likes of Castleford and the likes of Huddersfield to begin with. And this will go for any team that he's taking anything for granted. What this is showing and what it has shown is, and we'll get to Bradford now, a club like Bradford who has done really good detailed analysis of how to score points, IMG points, which is what they've done. And they've done it. And they've got into Super League. Now they're a long way off the likes of Warringtons and Catalans, but these teams at the bottom, not only has Bradford come 10th, but behind them are London, Toulouse, York, Oldham, who have got a real appetite and have got backing to have a proper go at it. And we've seen what Wakefield, KR, Lee have done. Yeah. They're overtaking the old guard. So for me, the likes of Castleford and Huddersfield, the time is now, absolutely now, because next year they'll be coming again. The piranhas are in the water. Don't worry about that. And then in long term, even established clubs, they need to make sure, because I saw an interview today where they were saying, well, this, I think it might have been Brian Carney, said this had to, the whole point of IMG was to bring us up to the 21st century. Well, the world turns. Any club who gets up, and I'll use Warrington as an example, or anybody as an example, any club who has got to a point now, that's yesterday's fish and chip paper. You've got to keep modernising. You've got to keep pushing the needle, because these ones that are coming up who maybe are a bit more savvy and are getting a bit more, I'll tell you, the piranhas are circling, Greg.
They certainly are, mate. There's no, this is one thing we're seeing the advantage of IMG for. There's no room for complacency now, and that's becoming quite apparent. You can't rest on your laurels now. You've got into the top 12, the top 14 this time round. You've got to stay there. You've got to improve. You're being overtaken by teams like York, like Toulouse, like Bradford. Bradford have come from nowhere. They've clearly put the homework in. They've clearly looked at the boxes and worked towards ticking every single one of those boxes. They're still not fully ticking them because they've gone to 10th, but they've done the homework. They've done a great job in getting where they are now. So I agree totally with you, Dave. It's not just piranhas, it's sharks as well.
Absolutely. The full repertoire. Put a killer whale in the ocean as well. Volstad, good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed, sir. This frosty one has got your name on it. But look, bottom line is very, very interesting times. Before we move on to the next topic, Bradford Bulls. Now, look, I don't want to go with odds. Oddsall's Oddsall, and they need to get a grip of that. They need to do something about that, and they do. the thing is here, and I mentioned this earlier as well, is to Steph, is that one of the things that Bradford have done well is they posted profit. Okay,
Yeah.
again, something that might have got missed by the Super League fraternity. Massive losses at a lot of the Super League clubs. Bradford have posted profits over the last few years. However, their wage bill is about to go up. And it is. Now, don't get me wrong, they're going to get full distribution. I get that. But it's a test again now, isn't it? What it does show is that maybe they are being a little bit more savvy and maybe they're being a bit more clinical in the way that they run the club, which is a good thing. But would you say, Steph, that to post a profit in Super League is a challenge over and above what they've already achieved in the Championship where money's concerned?
Absolutely, but doable, as Leah proving at the moment. With them posting profits, so you guess you can spend full cap and with marquee players and still make a profit. The key thing to that is to how many fans they can get through the door, because they've got an immediate injection of 1.2 million that will help with their full-time roster massively. If they can get 6,000 season ticket holders signed up, and why not with the great news that there is at Bradford at the moment, that will stand them in very, very good stead to be able to at least break even. Or if not, make a profit. So I don't see why not. It's just about how you run your business with it. I just want to quickly address as well in terms of I've heard so many things today about Bradford have just, it's not about on field what they've done and they've just done this to get that points up. Well, hang on a minute. How many Super League clubs went from 12 point whatever, Lee included, to get to 15 points by putting LED boards in, by putting scoreboards in, by putting gantries in or whatever to get a grade A, so they guaranteed Super League status. Yeah. So Bradford are playing by exactly the same rules as everybody else, just because they've been very smart and invested their money, not necessarily in the playing staff, but in something that's actually going to get them into Super League. You've got to give them credit for. And I think everybody accepts Odsall's a dump. It's up to Bradford now to improve that to be a Super League stand, what we would class as a Super League standard stadium. And for me, it's now up to IMG, as everyone's now reached basically these tick boxes of LED boards and scoreboards. We're now at a stage now where we say, right, guys, that's great. We're all pretty much there. Now it gets tougher. Now we're making it, you've got to have a stand built, at least a stand built within the last 20 years. To get maximum points on your stadium. You've got to do X, Y, and Z to improve these things. And we think some clubs are maybe pushing, taking to the limit with the facilities they're providing their fans. And I think that's the way that it is. And I think people have got to remember as well, in terms of the IMG process, it's still at its infancy. We're only 3 years into this. And for me, the standards have gone up in terms of stadia and stuff like that. So it is working. It's not perfect. But as a starting point, the experience, and you only have to look now at, even though we're showing and broadcasting every game, the actual attendances are going up. So that tells you the fans are getting a better experience at these grounds. So in that respect, it is working. So yeah, but I think it's great for Bradford. I'm really glad that they've got there on the IMG, because you can't hide behind that. Whereas behind the Lord Kane thing, there would be far more. If they'd have got the 13th or 14th, there would have been far more scepticism. And it's because of Nigel Wood and stuff. No one can say it's Nigel Wood because it's transparent. They've done what they've done. You can't argue against it, regardless of what people think.
But again, Steph, there will be people out there who will question that, and I agree with you. You can't fudge it. But there'll be people out there who, what it's like. It'll be like, no. They got given this, they got given that, and that's why I think that when these scores come out, it should all be published, and it just takes all of that away.
Well, that's why I'm glad though it's through IMG, because they can say that all they want. They're wrong. They've done it on what they've done, and you can't hide behind it. If it had been through the Lord Kane, I could kind of go with them and say, you may have a point here with the Nigel Wood thing or whatever. That's gone now. That doesn't exist. You can't hide behind that.
I agree. And Greg, Steph's point there, I think he's right in the fact that this criteria came into being 3 years ago. It too needs to constantly evolve. Because, at the end of the day, once people have put these, and we'll use the screens and we'll use the LED boards, once they're in, they're in. So that what IMG should be looking at is new ways of improving stadia, improving fan experience, and holding the clubs accountable to that, to keep progression, so that we're not in the same position in 10 years' time where we need to modernise because we didn't the IMG.
I agree. You know, it's almost like that Ofsted situation where a school gets to be outstanding. If all schools get to be outstanding, then the goalposts have to change.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whether we agree with Ofsted or not, whether we agree with IMG or not, you're right. We keep progressing. Things keep getting better. People want different forms of entertainment. In 5 years' time, social media platforms might not be the way of communication. It might be something to do with AI.
Yeah.
You know, artificial intelligence is the buzzword. So you're absolutely right. Clubs can't sit on the laurels, and I don't think IMG can either. As you've said, it's had a lot of criticism, the IMG process, but as Steph has pointed out, excuse me, excitement again. As Steph has pointed out, you know, clubs are having to improve, because if they don't, they could be out of Super League. So you're absolutely spot on what you say there. This has to be a continuing process where all new innovations have to be taken into account. The fan has to be at the heart of this. The consumer, the customer, as we're now called. We're not fans, we're customers, we're consumers. We have to be at the heart of all these progressions within the sport to keep moving it forward.
Spot on, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Look, it'll rumble on and on and on. We know it will. But what I would say is, you know, we're not doing a take a bow son tonight. But look, Bradford, I'm gonna level this off. Christopher Core seen this on one of these sites today. I think people are missing everything to do away from the first team. Lots of development with different teams. It's not about Bradford. You know, it's not just about the first team. It's about the infrastructure, it's underneath, all the things that go into IMG. Couldn't agree with them as well. There was a guy called Rob Maynard who was on about how on earth Wigan could have been so low. Completely and utterly got that. But the one I had to say, take a bow, son. You know, if you're going to have a pop at Bradford, do it some style. That's what I say. So I would say Alan John Britton, mate, take a bow, son. Take a bow. This is genius. Bradford in 10th is like an elephant up a tree. You can see it's there, but I've no idea how it got there. Well done, Alan. If you're going to have a fight, do it with a smile on your face. Absolutely.
It's like them goats that are halfway up a mountain. You're thinking, how did they get there?
Absolutely fantastic. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Loved it. Did I put that in there or did I not? I don't think I did. No, I'm not putting it in there. We won't go there. I did see one KR fan getting a bit excited, saying they'll win every trophy over the next 3 years, which I think, give you a wobble, son. They'll be up there, they'll be battling for it, but I think the competition is going to be that hot that I don't see.
A dynasty.
I don't see. I think in the same way that Wigan's dynasty's just come to an abrupt close because of KR. I think Lee will improve. I think Leeds will improve. Wigan will have the bit between the teeth. They won't be happy. You know, KR again will be a champion team next year. They'll be right up there battling as well. And then there's the question mark over the chasing pack after that. So I just think with the quality of what we're seeing and the fact that those four teams especially will attempt to improve in terms of roster and everything else, I just don't see it being... We've had a quadruple, we've had a treble. I get it. It looks... But I do think it'll be shared around a bit more than that over the next couple of years, but I could be wrong. I could have just had a Joel moment where I've done Luke Keary as Man of Steel and, you know, Warrington to win the league, and was it Salford to win the Challenge Cup? Wow, simply wow. Right, we're going to talk what was an incredible, absolutely incredible grand final. Not just, and people say it wasn't a great, it was a good game. I'm sorry, it was a good game. Wigan fans would disagree. It was a good game. The standard was there. It was brutal. It had really good moments in it. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But of course, we had the absolute fortune of taking 50 people to the grand final, and we had an absolute ball. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, maybe you want to just consider becoming a member, because this was the Super League Raw Grand Final with the Super League Raw membership. Here we go. So welcome to the Bluebell in Warrington for the 2025 Grand Final! Yes, another incredible season. But I'm going to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, that man there at the back who looks like Joey Boswell, him, that's Mike. Mike, myself and Greg, 4 years ago, that was all that was at the Grand Final. No, that was the year after. Year after, we got Steph. So we got Steph the year after. Last year we got 17 people in the Piccadilly tap, and this year we've got 50 people in the Bluebell. That is outstanding. That is absolutely outstanding. Greg, what a journey, mate.
Absolutely fantastic. And these people are absolutely wonderful. It just reinforces that Rugby League is the greatest sport.
And without you guys, as Dave says, each and every week, it just wouldn't be possible. But today, it's going to be a great game. Let's remember, even though we are from as representative clubs, you know, we all love each other. We're all one big family. And this is Super League Raw. Up the Robins.
Good times have never seemed so good.
We see today as a testament to all the work you put in, all these people that have come out today. It's a huge effort. And we see the work you put in. So it's fantastic. Has anyone got a leash on today? Don't worry, you can get to the stand this week. You can sit next to opposition participants. That's good news.
So Joel, mate, you know, your public love you, mate. They love you, mate. They love you, mate. They love you. So there you go. So Mr. Scholes, they're waiting for your final thoughts, mate. So give them your final thoughts. We'll go with this. Record grand final appearances. James Roby is one. Who's the other? Bono.
Yeah, but so that's where.
It's Bono. It's Bono. It's you too, mate. Talking rugby league here, mate. Who's Bono? Burrow!
Yeah.
Yes.
So I told you something we are sorted.
Hey, we're going to be so close to the edge. There you go. Opposing his iron ring. There you go. Anyway, the sweetest thing is. It's actually Jamie Peacock.
Right, what's number one? What's number one? Are you listening? Give us a thumbs up. There you go. Right, we have got. Right.
Cheer up, the sun is red lit.
I'll tell you what, you know Elvis Presley had on and there for How's what's number one doing, mate? It's the atmosphere building. No, you've not. We've got the luckiest one. Come on!
Why make me work so hard? Let's get it on, let's get it on, let's get it on, let's
You enjoyed bus one. We're loving bus two. We'll see you very shortly from Old Trafford. Everybody on bus one, enjoy your trip down to Old Trafford, Steph. Legend. Well done. So here we are with the boys. Good evening, fellas. Pete Barley. Pete, your Hull KR have just won the Super League 2025. What's your immediate reaction?
Still shocked, I can't believe it.
Shocked, can't believe it. No, you're loving life.
Loving it.
Loving life. Treble.
The treble.
See,
can we do the quadruple? That is the question. That is the question.
Right,
Can
what
we?
a night for you, though.
I'm happy. I'm
Fantastic.
buzzing.
The legend, the experienced Bazza. Bazza's coming in. Bazza, just explain your emotions, mate, live on YouTube, mate.
It's not something, mate, if I'm honest. It's a whirlwind. Yeah, 9 years ago, dark day. We've done 3 trophies and I took one. I'd have snapped your hand off for one, but I don't know if I'll get to experience this again, but I'll enjoy it while I can. It's incredible. And this guy, what he's done, yeah.
Well, the rumours are that Baz is putting his credit card behind the bar and he's buying me a single malt back at the Bluebell. Is that true?
You can have a double.
Here's the lovely Dawn. Dawn, there she is. Dawn.
Everyone!
Imagine, explain to the YouTube community how you're feeling, mate.
Oh, off the moon. I'm just
Awesome.
ecstatic. I mean, I can't believe it. I've waited all my life for this, and I just can't believe it.
She's waited all her life for this. And in a moment, you're going to see your beloved Robins pick up the Super League trophy.
I can't believe it.
This eclipses the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Can't believe it, can't believe it, can't. And you're going to and she's coming back to the Bluebell for more drinks and fun. Look at it, look at it, look at it. She's absolutely over the moon. Well done, Dawn.
It's 2025 Betfred Super League champions.
So here we are at the Bluebell, the after party of Super League Raw. The Robins are the 2025 Grand Final winners. And here we are, it's in the house. There we are. Go mate, give it a smile, there you go. A happy Robins fan. Come on, Sally. Sally Ann, happy Robins fan. Yeah, there you go. Bazza, you're live on YouTube, Chief. Give it a big one. We've done it. There you go. He's an happy boy. This is what Super League Raw is all about, ladies and gentlemen. After party at the Bluebell, Grand Final style. Regularly roasting in the house. There he is. There you go.
Right, Dave. What a good day. We've had a fantastic day. It wasn't the result we wanted.
That was an incredible day.
It wasn't the result we wanted.
There you go. There you go. There's your green.
Hey, the BFG.
Yeah, the BFG.
I love rock and roll.
Hey, Huddersfield Giants fans, mate. How's your Grand Final been, mate?
Absolutely wonderful. Love the game. All the result was there, really, at the end of the day. The Bevan Franks, line don't try. The yellow card made difference. Okay, all couple of tries. But a great game. Wonderful, great people, great community. Doing Super League Raw, that's a great thing.
In the house, there he is. Happy lad. What makes you think you want after party, mate?
Oh, it's great, mate. That was banging, innit?
Banging! Barkill in the house as well, there he is. Okay. Mark, are you enjoying yourself, son?
Loving it.
Loving it. Yes, you can choose to do a grand final on your own. You can choose to, just watch your own team, or you can choose to be a part of the Super League Raw community. Last year it was 17, this year it's 50, next year it'll be 100. You know it makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Bluebell, from the Super League Raw Grand Final, all the very best to you all. Do become a member, do the QR code, be with us next year. Trust me, it was an incredible day. It's been outstanding. Thank you to everybody who's come along. Thank you to everybody who's watched. If you're not a member of Super League Raw, why aren't you? The only way to do a grand final, regardless of the team you support, is Super League Raw.
Memories, boys. Memories.
Well, you say memories, Dave. Mine are a little hazy.
Mate, what's funny about the video is the longer it goes, you see us all deteriorate.
I mean, the one person you didn't thank there, Dave, was yourself for organising it. So
no, it's my
absolutely
pleasure.
fantastic, mate.
My
a great job, mate. You did a great job. Thanks to the Bluebell, made us feel so welcome.
Absolutely.
We were dropped off 10-minute walk away from Old Trafford. It took me 40 minutes to get there. And I think I had one foot nailed to the floor. Oh God. It was one of those days that will live long in the memory. I made up for our Hull KR friends. Commiserations to the Wigan fans, but I think we all win or lose or neutral. We all had a great day, and it was one of those days where you think back of it and you've got a lovely warm feeling about it.
Do you know what?
What I can remember of it.
When I put that together, Steph, I completely forgot that I didn't hear Volstagg right, because I genuinely thought it was saying Bono and not Burrow. That was comedy gold. Comedy gold.
It was. But I think if ever there was a 5-minute video that sums up rugby league and rugby league fans, that was it. To see so many different shirts, all enjoying each other's company, the banter on the buses going there and stuff. I mean, the grand final's a special day anyway, even if you just go there with your friends and family. But to do that with the community of people who have got a passion for the game, but are also, bloody good people as well, was so enjoyable. We've got some characters, and we've got some people who like to stay a bit more back. But it's great to see so many people coming out of the shell, and we've not mentioned it yet, but Matty Timms, I messaged Matty today. What a horrible day for Salford and their fans. It's quite easy to forget what they're feeling today amongst the high of Bradford getting in and other clubs getting the grade A's or being assured a Super League next season. Today's a horrible day for Salford. But what I did say to Matt is you've got to look at this as a benchmark, and I know they've got the HMRC where they'll probably get wound up next week, and if that is the case, that's their ground zero, and hopefully for Salford, for Matty, and all the Salford. How good have the Salford fans been this year? That's been one of the we talk about credit to rugby league and our community. What a credit to rugby league those Salford fans have been this year, and we all feel for you today. But we know you're going to come back stronger, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And if you look at what other clubs, I mean, Bradford's the prime example. They went down to League One. At least Salford haven't got that because it's going to one league. And Bradford are an example for Salford in terms of that situation and a dire straight situation of how you can come back, and hopefully Salford do it a bit quicker than what Bradford have, but it is possible. And if you keep together, that great group of fans who've organised the marches and stuff, and what a credit they've been as well, how well they've conducted themselves in that. So there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
I am thinking of you, Salford fans, today, and hopefully this is the start of new beginnings for you.
100%.
Andy Burnham's thrown himself behind the campaign to fight on behalf of Salford. So, Andy Burnham's
Andy Burnham puts his hand up for anything, mate, doesn't he?
He does, but you know what?
Good evening, Mr. Starmer.
He's
probably put a congestion charge around the Salford Community Stadium to raise funds for him.
No, but say what you like about Andy Burnham, he does get stuff done.
He does.
He does. He does get stuff done, whether you like him or not.
We're not going political. We're not going political. We're not doing it.
He's a good ally to have in your corner if you're a Salford fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. But I have to say, my favourite grand final ever. That's because Warrington hasn't won one yet. But it was my favourite grand final ever. Absolutely. From the moment it started to the moment it finished, it was just a wonderful day. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Let's hope next year's is bigger and better. Come and be a part of it. It had everything. Laughter, tears, joy, just everything.
Alcohol,
a bucket at the side of the bed when I get home. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day. And thank you to everybody who came along. It meant the world. I hope you had a wonderful time with us. And I hope you'll be booking to come again next year, where I'm sure we'll find some way of raising it up another notch. But
thank you to Heather as well, Heather Bailey, for getting me home. That's
and there is Heather. She fully enjoyed it. There she is. She fully enjoyed it. Made her feel welcome. That's because you are welcome, Heather. That's because you are welcome. Everybody's welcome. That's Super League Raw. Superb stuff. Right, let's get to the final, and congratulations. Let's do it. A historic treble for Hull KR. Absolutely befitting, absolutely deserving. Played some sparkling rugby league. Greg, we questioned, could they galvanise to the team that we saw earlier in the season? And boy, did they deliver a performance that we saw probably, I would say, for two-thirds of the season. They were back to that level when it mattered most.
Yeah, in the final, they suffocated Wigan. They out-Wiganed Wigan in that final, and that's what you have to do to win a grand final if you're up against the Wigan team. I thought they were superb. I thought Mikey Lewis, he does have his critics that he disappears in big games. I thought he was superb in the game. His try was tremendous. If only Mothercare could sell dummies like that, it'd be brilliant. He was outstanding on the night. I thought Jez Litton, I thought the pack stood up really, really well against the Wigan pack. I thought they were 2 steps ahead in that second half of everything Wigan tried to do. They were superb, thoroughly deserved to win it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Rebecca, thanks for Saturday. Absolute pleasure, Rebecca. And do you know what? Hasn't Rebecca, you mentioned Oliver earlier. Boy, Rebecca's been incredible this season at Super League Raw. Yeah. So Rebecca, and I think all the community will say that, it's been fantastic how you've grown this year, both as a member but also as a human being. I think you've been outstanding. Really good.
Pleasure to have you along, Rebecca.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure. And nice to meet Jess as well. Jess has actually joined as well since the grand final. She enjoyed it that much. Jess, of course, came along with, I don't know where Eve is. Carla, you need to have a word there. I'll be sending Sammy round. She knows what I mean. But yeah, anyway. But no, you mentioned Mikey Lewis. Let's deal with Mikey first of all, then. As soon as though you've mentioned him, Mikey Lewis, Man of Steel last year, the Rob Burrow Trophy winner this year. Steph, what was absolutely? I mean, Greg quite rightly said there. The try, eyes up rugby, split second decision, made Liam Farrell look silly. Let's be crystal on that. Lovely individual moment of quality. And nobody would have begrudged Mikey that after missing the tackle on French the year before. But the thing for me that really impressed me with Mikey was, one, the amount of times you've seen him dummy. So, they were trying to get up quick on him and he was just making him look daft. He was sidestepping him and getting himself another five meters. His spatial awareness was incredible. I thought his kicking game, everybody expected them to go by Tyrone May, not a bit of it. Tyrone May was almost redundant. Everything went through Mikey Lewis. It was the Mikey Lewis grand final, Steph.
Yeah, it was. I think he was probably took a bit more criticism last year than what he actually deserved. I thought he had a good game last year. It was just, unlucky for him that Bevan did what he did, and Bevan does that to everybody. Never mind Mikey Lewis. But no, I think sometimes leaders are born. Mikey Lewis has been a great individual player for KR. He's been the Man of Steel last year. I think we're starting to see that team being built around him now, and he's embracing that, and his leadership qualities are coming out. We've seen far less petulance from him this season. There's been a bit, but credit to him, he's focused on his rugby and also been targeted because of his previous history by players, and he's not risen to it. I think you look at the Hull FC game as a prime example of that with Ashworth, where he did to him and he didn't rise to it. But in this grand final, I thought he controlled it. His kicking game was absolutely outstanding. That the try he scored was a moment of genius, befitting of a previous Man of Steel winner, almost Bevan French-esque, you would say.
I was about to say it was equally as good as Bevan French.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's also his defence. I thought his defence was superb. They targeted him. They threw big players at him, and he dealt with it all game. Mikey at the moment epitomises the Hull KR club. The talent, the passion for playing for the club, and that can't be underestimated. He is 100% the most passionate player Hull KR have got. He's their leader in that respect. Nobody cares more than him in that team and what it means to the club and to the fans. I think it was inspirational giving him the 6. The Millwall thing. I think he's taken that on board and what the meaning of that is. I think that's helped with his attitude and his role within the club as well at Hull KR. And the best thing about it is Hull KR have benefited from that massively. And we've not seen a man of steel year from Mikey. Some have said he's gone a bit quiet. We don't know what injuries he's had, but on the biggest stage where he's been questioned the most, by God, did he deliver in this grand final. He was superb. He was absolutely superb.
It was absolutely class. I mean, look, Reggie, not only that, but he's actually, he's that good, Mikey Lewis. He's created a whole new trend. No longer are we going to be swapping shirts. We're going to be swapping shorts because he really wants O'Neill's. There's no doubt about that. But
I must admit, I think he was a little bit lucky watching that back.
He
sparked the brawl.
No.
Yeah, if he was to do that against the Aussies,
no, mate.
Come on, he drags him back by his shorts and he sparks the brawl.
I'm back.
You've got an Aussie referee in the Ashes and he sees that, then
Wigan Warriors
down for 10.
No, I'm not having that.
Yeah,
Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, that will happen if it's an Aussie
agree to this, Wigan Warriors, mate. A lot of Wigan fans, a lot of pundits saying, no doubt about it, first 15 minutes, Wigan were the better team. They were. Should have scored 2 tries, but they didn't. That's sport, and it's all woulda, coulda, shoulda.
It is. You're right.
KR were under the pump for 15. Liam Farrell had won his time again. Bevan French had definitely won his time again. You've got to credit Mikey Lewis's defence for the French one. Liam Farrell is unforgivable. I'm a massive fan of Liam Farrell's, but with his experience, if Bevan French is going to do that pass, he'd probably be right up there who you'd want it to go to with his grand final experience, and he didn't take it in. What I would say is this: it doesn't matter. KR dominated from that point on and are deserved winners. But just for the sake of debate, had Wigan had got in front, do you still think KR could have gone on to win the game?
I think they would. I think they were hungrier. I think they learned. Like they learned from a couple of years ago against Lee in the Challenge Cup final. I think that Challenge Cup win did more for KR than people have given them credit for. They were dead and buried with 30 seconds to go. The game was over. They'd lost the Challenge Cup final and they won it with the last touch of the game practically. That gave them the confidence. And I think that win at Wembley was the confidence boost they needed. They've not been great the last few games. But, it's a long season and you can't be great for every single game of the season. You're going to have off games. You're going to lose games. Very, very rarely do you go through a season as good as you're playing and win every single game. But that grand final, I think even if Wigan had been 6-0, 10-0 up, I think Hull KR would have kicked in. Tyrone May was... I personally think his defense was magnificent. Tyrone.
His defense was.
I think he was absolutely superb. I thought Batchelor was superb.
Yeah.
As I say, I thought the pack. Whereas last year you could see that where the game was going because Harry Smith was controlling the game last year. It was like a chess game last year. Me and you said when we were watching it, every time Harry Smith kicked in that first 20 minutes, they were pushing KR further and further back, and they had no answer. KR didn't let them do that this year. I know Harry Smith got his try, and it was a great try. And everybody in the ground was thinking, this is it, we're going to go on a hit back. A lesser team would have folded. Warrington was 16-2 up, 16-6 up at half-time against Wigan a few years ago in the grand final, and they fell apart. KR were better than that. KR was strong, and I still think they would have won it even if they'd been 10, 12-0 down after 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I thought they were exceptional. I mean, Bazza Kingston. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? In life, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Bazza Kingston in the chat saying he never had any doubts they'd come good. Well, let me tell you now, Bazza. Chris at the Bluebell sending you the bill for the toilet, mate, because his cars, he said something different before we left on the bus, mate, to go to the grand final. That's all I'm saying to you, Chief. You know what I'm saying? Don't you dare, mate. You were bricking it all the way there, man. Don't go there. Unbelievable. You were on the edge of your seat all game. You weren't piping slippery, and I was watching you. Oh, mate.
I tell you what, though, fair play to Baz. I'd have been a blubbering wreck. He was calm as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber when that Uta went.
He was.
Fair play to you, Baz.
Good times. But you mentioned there, and do you know what? You never know where I'm going to go. Thou shalt not pass is what I've got on the screen for the purposes of the podcast. And 3 players are on the screen: Elliot Minchella, James Batchelor, Dean Hadley. These 3, quite simply, were unplayable defensively. They were unplayable. I said on the final whistle, over 40%, it was 42% of all tackles in the grand final for KR were made by these 3 players. I'll say that again. 42% made by 3 of 17 players for KR. They were quite simply incredible. And I get the sympathy that the likes of Batchelor and Hadley or even Minchella didn't get the man of the match. I know that some of these did actually get some votes for the man of the match when they were published, but they always go with the flair players, and that's just the nonsense of man of the matches. But here on Super League Raw, we see it for what it is. Without these 3, they would have really struggled. Their defensive effort, and Steph, the line speed. That's what, people will say, oh, a great Jeslett try, which was class, and I'll come to that in a minute. Absolutely outstanding. Mikey Lewis's try. Let me tell you, in my personal opinion, the thing that got KR the grand final and what has got them some of their most impressive wins in 2025 is their ability to have incredible line speed for longer and harder than any other team in Super League. That's what they've demonstrated this year. Their line speed. How many times this year have we been in stadiums? Have we been commentating on games where we've said, oh, they're going to burn themselves out by half time? Or they'll burn themselves out after 60. They'll burn themselves out after 7. And they just don't. The fitness and engine of these lads, Steph, quite simply, incredible.
Yeah, and the old adage is defence wins games, and I think these 3 epitomised that on Saturday. But like I said, the line speed was different level, different level, and to do that many tackles between 3 players, a bit like I was saying about Mikey earlier. These will all run their blood to water for Hull KR. They are Hull KR through and through. They played a massive part, along with Mikey and Jez Litton, in winning this grand final for KR. And it's absolutely criminal that not one of these players are in the England team.
Well,
it's bonkers to me. Yeah. But to go on the good point, they were all outstanding, absolutely outstanding, and they have been all season as well. I don't think any of these have even dipped in form. We've questioned, Mikey's form, but I'm convinced Mikey had an injury that was that's put him up, for the last third of the season, and then luckily it's got better, and he produced that in the grand final, which was fantastic. But these 3 have been absolutely outstanding for KR all season. They've been 8.5 to 9 every single game out of 10, and it was great. I was made up for KR, but in particular these 3 players, because they've set the tone for the season. I don't think anybody deserves it more than these 3, alongside Mikey and Jez Litton. Maybe Joe Burgess you can throw into that as well. But yeah, what a 3 player, what a back 3. The leaders of the team, aren't they? And they set the attitude. The next person looks at these 3 and goes, if they're doing this, I've got to do it, and that's why you win grand finals.
I mean, for me, Batchelor, Greg, he showed why Joe is, of course, the more inferior of the 2 FC fans. I'm sorry, you've got the small miniature replica of the real thing next year. James is, for me, he's head and shoulders. He's been incredible.
I wouldn't call either of them inferior, mate, for fear of meeting them.
Well,
but no,
at the moment,
I'd run a mile. At the moment, he is at the top of his game. He should be in the Ashes squad. There's no doubt about it. For a back unit to dominate the defence like that shows where Hull KR are at this moment in time, shows what a team they are. They've got the creativity of the halves. They've got I thought Hickey had a great game as well, to be honest.
They didn't have a bad player, mate. I mean, let's be honest. All of them turned up.
Yeah, but Batchelor, he's one of those players that doesn't get the plaudits, and he's the player you need in your team. Every team needs one or two of those players.
Well, he's there, Benny Westwood, isn't he? He's there in a Warrington way. He's there,
exactly,
Benny Westwood.
Yeah. They never get mentioned. They very, very rarely get player of the match.
Yeah.
And yet, week in, week out, they do the hard work, the grubby work, the work that turns players around.
Yeah.
That's the player. And the three of those, Minchella is, I've waxed lyrical about Minchella for a long time now. I think he's an absolute class player.
I agree, mate.
Absolute class.
Yeah, his brother Lemon's good and all.
and his children, Mini Cheddar.
Good evening, Elliot. Hope you're well. But we gotta have a bit of fun. But mate, I don't know if you listened to the final whistle, Greg and Steph. But I just hope that you Bobbins fans did actually go. I got a few pelters for saying that Harry Smith had a good game. He did have a good game.
Decent game.
Harry Smith had a good game. He did. I think his kicking game wasn't where it normally was. Again, I go back to those words, line speed. He wasn't given the space to kick. What we actually saw was a KR team that were on the front foot, where Mikey had just enough time at times to evade the oncoming, and he did it with some class, may I say, where he evaded an oncoming defender and got an extra 5 or 6 meters before he kicked. That's a team in the ascendancy. That's a team on top. Harry Smith didn't have that privilege. Harry Smith, because of the line speed of KR, that's why his kicks weren't on point, because they were losing. They were losing the battle. As simple as that. But I thought he took his try well. And I go back to what I said on Final Whistle. And please, I hope the KR fans did what I told them to go and do on Final Whistle. And if you haven't listened to Final Whistle, let me say this again. In the NRL, I've seen it more in the NRL than the British Super League. But in the NRL this year, I've seen so many tries chalked off where a player who had no chance whatsoever of making a tackle runs into a player who has not cleared the line, and the try, as spectacular as it is, has been chalked off for obstruction. Never an obstruction in the history of man. Harry Smith could have done exactly that with Arthur Morg just before the Jesletton try. He really could. Arthur Morg stops running. That's the key element. He stops running. He stands still. And Harry Smith, actually, I think he almost brushes him to get past to try and make the tackle on Hickey. Now, that for me is exactly how we want our game playing. So, I hope people went back and looked at that, because we gave Harry Smith so many pelters for his shenanigans against KR in the game where he feigned a little slap on the face. But that was a touch of professionalism and class and sportsmanship. And I think that deserves to be mentioned. Yes, we can talk about KR line speed, Mikey Lewis, Batch, the rest. An incredible performance, an unprecedented treble. They deserve every bit of credit going forward. But that doesn't mean you overlook other good performances in the opposition. You should never do it.
No, but it's fair to say you can only win one Oscar per year. But no. Yeah, you're right. You've got to give praise to both sides.
You do.
Wigan didn't give up. I've seen people putting in on social media Wigan through the game. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. KR learned.
Ooh.
KR did what Warrington failed to do in their 4 grand finals. They learned from a loss, and they capitalised on it.
I'm gearing up. While I'm at it, because I call it straight, and this isn't necessarily a dig at the Pies, because every team does it, and I find it disgraceful. Why do fans leave when the team lose in a grand final or a Challenge Cup final? I think it's the most despicable thing ever, and it's a British thing, and it's across all sports. I just don't get it. Those lads have run through brick walls all year for your entertainment. I thought Matt Pete at full time, again, the epitome of class, when he said, these fans don't stop supporting us and turning up to watch us because we've lost the grand final. They turn up to see how we respond. What a quality quote that is. But they got the early train home, Matt. You know, it was ridiculous. And this is a British thing. I would never dream of leaving a Challenge Cup final. In fact, actually, I don't even leave when we're losing in the league without clapping my team off, let alone a final. It's absolutely deplorable. But I tell you what, if only, again, and I'm going to say it as it is, I call it straight, you Wigan Warriors fans who left, you know who you are. Not the ones who stayed and did it right, the ones who left. Shame that you don't follow the example of your team. I thought Wigan Warriors walking past the KR fans, clapping their success, was absolute different gravy. That is a class team. That is a class club. That is what it's all about. And then they stood there and clapped them as they got the trophy. Not on the floor, on the haunches. They all stood there to a man, clapping Elliot Minchella as he raised the trophy above his head. Wigan Warriors, I salute you. When I say Wigan Warriors, not the ones who left, not the pie eaters that left. The team, the club, the culture of that club, what you stand for, you are still the benchmark. Yes, KR are the treble winners, but that level of class is still the benchmark of our lead. Steph will disagree in terms of what happened in the semi-final.
No. Matty Pete and the Wigan team were absolutely class. Absolutely class. And I've said all season, Matty Pete is the classiest coach in Super League in terms of the way he conducts himself, and that rubs off on his players. I have nothing but respect for the Wigan team and Matty Pete, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it was an incredible moment, Greg. I mean, like I say, I can seldom remember a time, and I've been watching this game a lot, I can seldom remember a time where, to a man, the losing side have walked to the opposition fans and from left to right of that stand applauded him. I can't remember a time I've seen.
I must admit, I'm finding it difficult to recall anything.
I can't remember anything like it.
No, and you know, we in the old days, in the good old days, the winning team used to go up first and get the trophy, and then the losing team used to get the medals. And they changed that round to try and stop losing fans from leaving early. That the losing team went up to get the medals, and then the winning team went up last with the trophy. So yeah, you know, I'm afraid it's endemic. It's an endemic thing in British sport that it is going to take a long, long time to turn around.
Yeah, well, I don't think we ever will, and it's such a shame.
No, it is, and it's a shame because you should, and you know, I did it after the last grand final. I was that gutted. I did leave before. I did leave before the trophy was lifted. I've got to admit, I've done it, but I was devastated because I genuinely thought we were going to win it.
Shocking.
I know. I'm a disgrace to myself, my family, and everybody.
Yeah. I say,
I've only been to one final and we won it. So,
but I tell you what, somebody said in the chat that KR fans applauded Wigan back. Yes, because it's called respect.
Yeah,
there wouldn't have been a single KR fan, and there'd have been probably the odd idiot, but because every village has got one. But I would say 99.9% of the KR fans, one, would have been surprised, and two, their respect for that club, their opposition, will have gone up tenfold as a consequence of seeing that. That is, and do you know what, KR fans? That is the standard, not only for you, but for your side in defeat, because it's going to happen. That is the way. I've always said the greatest example of sportsmanship and sportsmen and women, it's not how you win, it's how you lose.
Yeah.
To be
fair to KR fans, in the 2023 Challenge Cup final, they were exemplary. Yeah. You know, both before the game and after the game. You know, they conducted themselves well, and I thought they did it this final. You know, we've seen little pockets of stuff in previous ones. Didn't see very much of that. It just seemed like everyone was out there enjoying the day, exactly how rugby league should be, and that was a credit to both Wigan and KR and the neutrals that were there in attendance as well. Exactly how rugby league should be, and it was a credit to be there on Saturday.
Completely agree. Completely. Hope you enjoyed Super League Raw weekly. Hopefully you enjoyed that little clip of the grand final. Become a member, do the QR code. Go to superleagueraw.com. Who knows, you might actually like our company in real life. All those guys at the grand final did. We'd love to have your company next year. Right, let's get into the England squad. We've got about 25 minutes to go. Done all right here, boys. I thought we had a show here somewhere. You never know how these things are going to run, but we've done all right. Before we get to that, can I just give a big shout out to this? State of Origin 2. Again, not an awful lot of publicity around this because of the England squad and other things. But this game is taking place this weekend, Saturday, the 18th of October at Boundary Park, 2 p.m. If you like your women's rugby league or you're a rugby league fan, you're going to be devoid of it this weekend. Not much going on this weekend, of course. Then maybe get down to the Lancashire-Yorkshire game. If you watch the Wigan Saints grand final, great game of rugby league. Really, really good indeed. And you'll get the opportunity of seeing the newly crowned Woman of Steel, Ava Hunter, in the Lancashire squad. I mean, when these two met earlier in the campaign at Seal Group Craven Park, it was a Lancashire win. It was a comfortable Lancashire win. Greg, we probably expect a Lancashire win. When you look at the two squads, it is heavily weighted in the Lancashire favour, isn't it?
It is. I mean, they got some class players there. They've got the Wigan side that have won the grand final and have been brilliant all year. You know, those girls have been head and shoulders above the rest, with a smattering of St Helens players in there as well. So yeah, you know, Yorkshire has struggled. The Yorkshire teams, the women's team, have struggled this season a little bit. It swings and roundabouts. Two strong sides. I'd say two strong sides, but I think Lancashire just have the edge.
Yeah,
with pace more than anything.
Yeah, it is live on YouTube. England Rugby
and there's
League.
some Swinton and Salford players in there as well. So,
yeah, it is on YouTube, on the England Rugby League YouTube channel. But if you're in around Boundary Park, that's Bolton, isn't it? Boundary Park.
Oldham.
It's Oldham. Sorry.
Oldham.
Apologies to my Oldham brethren. Yeah, if you're in around Oldham, get to that. And just for Leon, Leon's getting filthy with me in the chat. Yes, Mickey McAlorin played 10 minutes and got a treble, having played the least amount of minutes in his career in an entire season. Well done, Mickey Mac. If only you did that throughout your entire season, mate, your legs won't be shot. I bet you're thinking what you've done it all for all your life. But yes, you're right, Mickey Mac, well done. And JWH, yes, without doubt, he left his best performance, 4KR, for the grand final 2025. Congratulations to JWH, despite the Rugby Football League's best efforts of him not playing. Hopefully, Leon, that makes you happy, sir.
Right, Leon.
Koki.
And Leon, RFL, tell me you're a job's worth without you telling me you're a job's worth by banning him for 4 games when he's retired.
Well,
Chaos response was exceptional, though.
Yeah, we're not going.
That should be in the not the head wobble, the other one.
Yeah. Take a bow.
Take a bow.
KR deserve a take a bow for the response to that.
Right, let's get into the England team. So this was the 32-man squad training party that they had earlier in the year. You can see the notes, the ticks and the crosses. For the purposes of the podcast, in from that 32-man squad is Harry Newman, Tom Johnstone, Jack Welsby and Jake Wardle. Omitted. We felt at the time that Jack Broadbent was unlucky to miss out in the training, but we never thought he'd be in the Ashes squad. But we felt he was unlucky not to be in the training party squad, as did. My apologies for that. So yes, in terms of he was unlucky. Harry Robertson was in the training party. He's not there. And we didn't expect Matty Ashton. And Liam Marshall as well was in the training party. And he's gone. Let's take a look at who has been selected. So here we go. So Harry Newman in. Okay. Herbie Farnworth was always in. Arguably one of the best centres in the world. Shooing. No arguments there. Tom Johnstone kept his place, as did Jack Welsby and Jake Wardle. In come AJ Brimson. He comes in, as does Tom Burgess. He comes in, and of course Dom Young from the NRL. Of the ones who've been omitted, for me, unlucky, Eric Robertson and probably Ash Hanley. Let's go Hanley first. I mean, Newman. I've still got question marks, Greg, over Newman. Would you, if you were Sean Wayne, and he's talked a lot about versatility in this squad, would you be more inclined to put Hanley over Newman because he can play centre or wing?
Yeah, mate, 100%. Yeah, Hanley over Newman. Newman's temperament as well, you know, against the Aussies. So yeah, 100%. Hanley over Newman.
And Stefan, know that you'd have liked Robertson, probably too early. Look, he's a kid. He's got 10, 12 years of international rugby league ahead of him. There's no rush. But it would have been exciting to have had him up the sleeve, wouldn't it?
Well, I would have, both players admitted, I would have had in. I'd have put in Robertson over Newman in the centre position, and I'd have put Ash Hanley on the wing over Tom Johnston.
Yeah, and of course, there'll be a lot of KR fans talking about Davies in there as well. Look, we've got to remember Dom Young's in. Dom Young's in. There's no doubt about that. And am I surprised it's Burgess? I'm probably not. One, he got a couple of tries in the final, and that, of course, was under the nose of Sean Wayne. But also, Tom's got a little bit more size to it, more aerial ability, I'm going to say, perhaps, as Tom. And we know, and to be fair to Sean Wayne, he has said that he wants his wingers to be of a size because he expects, you know, the Aussies to kick into corners, and he needs to be able to have units on the edges. I mean, Matty Ashton would have been in if he was fit, but he's not, so that's fine. But backline, I mean, the big, it was always going to be AJ Brimson's the one. There'll be a lot of people who don't know AJ. Good player, very versatile player. You know, I think, again, Gold Coast Titan. I'm not filthy over that because he's got bags of versatility in him, and he's a good player. You know, I've seen a bit of him for Gold Coast this year, and he's decent, isn't he?
He's very good, and his mum's English as well. So it's not like it's you know, you've been here for so long or anything like that. We've had before with players like the people wanting Bevan French to be in on he's been here 6 years rule kind of thing. So, but no, he's a very good fullback, and I think that's going to be interesting because Wellesby's obviously not been playing a lot of fullback for Saints and been injured. So that's going to be a battle for that fullback position.
Yeah, apologies about Burgess. You're right. I mean, I should have said Sam.
It is Joe.
Sam's been picked in the past. So is it George? Or is it Luke? I can't remember.
Luke.
Is it Luke? Luke Burgess? I can't remember. It's one of them, isn't it? Talk about splitting hairs. Anyway, but yeah, okay, Joe. Yeah, happy days. But no, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, from that, I have to say, what did surprise me, you know, and again, you're in camp. You want players to be on the toes. Jack Wellesby's not had the greatest year. We all know Jack Wellesby's a good player. But I'd have kept him on his toes. He's actually said Wellesby starts and Brimson doesn't. I'd have kept him on his toes right up until kick-off day, mate. Wouldn't you? No? Yeah.
I think you've got to. I think, yeah, if you're a coach of an international side, you know, we've seen with Wendy Ball and Tuchel and what he's done with certain players there. England were almost guaranteed to qualify for the World Cup with the teams they were playing. So he's left players out of the squad. Players that will be guaranteed to be in that World Cup next year. But he's kept them out. He's kept them on the toes. And I think, yeah, I think Sean Wayne has played his hand too soon here.
Yeah, I'd have kept Jack on his toes. I'd have kept Jack on his toes.
Definitely.
But with that Freudian slip, which he may have made, I don't think it was, Wellesby will be full-back, no doubt. It'll be a Farnworth and Wardle centre spot. And Dom Young, and I would probably expect Burgess on the wing. If he puts Tom Johnstone on there, I think Tom in Super League makes the odd ever here and there. He's a quality winger. He's a good Super League winger. But at international level, I don't know. It's an interesting one.
He knows his way to the try line, Dave, but yeah. He's very brittle and he is prone to injury. I think the back line, I've got no real questions over the back line. He's gone for size, he's gone for pace, he's gone for power. And I have no real qualms with that. You know, Marshall, maybe. I would have had Marshall in the squad as well. Right. Because he's got pace and again he knows his way to the try line. And he's got a lot of strength as Marshall.
Marshall was never in it. He's never, for whatever. Again, I think his size goes against him at international.
But I would have had him in there.
No, that's your shout, mate. It's all about opinions, Chief. It's all about opinions. The halves, as was, no surprises. We're not going to talk Jake Connor. That's been done to the hilt. The question is Mikey Lewis, and again, you know, he's got a big decision to make there. I personally don't see a Lewis Williams partnership. It's William. I think Smith starts. I mean, as good as Harry's kicking game. Mikey's kicking game was in the grand final, which will make him think, because that was as good as anything. It was. Can he back it up? It's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. But No real surprises there. Let's get into the number 9s. This was a surprise. So in the 32-man meet-up party, Danny Walker, Jez Litton, Brad O'Neill, Darrell Clark. We felt at the time, because of the way he was playing at the time, Jared O'Connor was very unlucky not to be in that meet-up squad. He has gone with Darrell Clark and Jez Litton. We're not going to talk Jez Litton because that's obvious. Jez should be starting. Nobody's arguing that. Darrell Clark. Now, we know that Danny Walker has been training for the last 3 weeks with George Williams at the England base. And if you listen to Sean Wayne, it was his most difficult decision. Were you surprised to see him admitted, Greg?
No, not really. I think he's been out for a large part of the season, Danny Walker. I would have loved for him to be in there, but I think the fact that he's been out for a lot of the season has counted against him. So, no, I am not surprised that Danny Walker is not in that side.
Well, Brad O'Neill's not as well, Steph. And I said to you in private, was Brad O'Neill's tip tackle his exit out of the Ashes squad? Is that what did it for Brad O'Neill?
Wayne was probably filthy because he cost his beloved Wigan, a chance at winning. So that probably put him in his real bad books. Danny Walker, I disagree with Reggie. I think he has been out for a big chunk of the season, but by God, did he change Warrington when he came back? Completely different animal Warrington were. Danny Walker, he was kicking 40-20s. He was a leader, a bit like Mikey Lewis has done for KR and Jez Litton for KR this year. Danny Walker should be in over Darrell Clark all day long. Darrell has been a great hooker, and he's been a great England hooker as well, but he's coming to the end of his career now. And I get where Wayne comes from with trusting players and all that. Jez Litton is the shoe-in for the 9 position. But Danny Walker is twice the player that Darrell Clark is at the moment.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Steph, but it's just I think the fact he's been out for a lot of the season has been a factor. I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
That's in Wayne's head,
but that's poor, isn't it? That's really. If that's the reason, that's really poor. Because I could understand if Danny had looked lethargic when he came back. He changed Warrington.
Yeah,
literally,
I agree.
Changed the way Warrington played. He was a huge impact in those last games of the season, and came back probably stronger following his injury. So for me, this is what I mean. I'm just going to go there now anyway. This is exactly why Sean Wayne should be nowhere near the England team. I think his decision making is well. I may be wrong, and we can clip it. But this is exactly why England are going to get battered in the Ashes, and it's going to be 3-0 whitewash, because he's picking players like Darrell Clark, who's been a great servant to Rugby League. He's been fabulous, right up there with the best hookers in Super League that we've seen. He's a phenomenal hooker, but he's not anymore. Darrell Clark was dealt with effectively by a Lee Leopard side. He's going to go up against the Aussies. We need our best individual players in the prime of their careers. Unfortunately for Darrell, he's not. Danny Walker is, and he's a game changer.
I don't disagree, Steph, but Dave asked, was I surprised he was left out? And no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not surprised he was left out. I agree, he should be in there. But the question was, and I'm not arguing with you, mate. Dave asked me, was I surprised he was left out?
Okay, come on, children. We've got 10 minutes. Right, props. Just for the purposes of the podcast, the 32-man squad: Aledzki, Tom Holroyd was in there, Robbie Mulhern, Mike McMeekin, Matty Lees, George Delaney, Ethan Havard, James Harrison, and Luke Thompson. We felt that Oliver Wilson, at that point in the season, was very unlucky to miss out in the training party. He has gone with, and I put Trout in here. He was in second row. We had him on the second row graphic. He was in the 32-man, but he was second row. We thought he'd be second row. Based on the fact of who he's picked, I think he's going to be either proper second row. Aledzki's stayed. No surprise, Holroyd's out. Trout's in. Havard in, which is interesting. Then we've got Mike McMeekin. Then we've got Matty Lees and Alex Worms. They omitted Robbie Mulhern and Luke Thompson. Now, anybody who knows, who has been watching 27 rounds of Super League should have no arguments at all that Alex Walmsley is in that squad. None at all. And he's the only prop that he's selected that's got a bit of bulk, a bit of size, and could come on after 20 minutes and cause a bit of chaos down the middle. It's the only one of the lot of them. The rest are very, very similar players. Similar builds, similar type of styles, great engines. Alex is the battering ram. We haven't got many of them at the moment. Now, on that basis, Steph, are you surprised, based on the fact that, I'm saying they're all very similar, that a Luke Thompson, who possibly is similar as well, but certainly Robbie Mulhern, who's got a bit of punch, has been omitted?
Again, it just backs. I'm not going to repeat what I just said, but Havard, are you having a laugh over Thompson and Mulhern?
Form. No, hang on, form. Goes on form.
Well, yeah, and exactly backs up what I'm saying. It's an absolute joke, and this is why Sean Wayne, as the England thing, and this comes down to you watch his interviews, his attitude. It's despicable for me the way he's coming across at the moment, and it's probably going a bit extreme here in terms of but this is why I'm disillusioned with the Ashes now, because of what we've got there is selected. I have no problems with, apart from Havard in this respect. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
how's he got an over Thompson?
I don't know. Greg, are you surprised by that?
I don't know what is with Havard. I mean, he must have photographs. I don't know. I mean, Liam Byrne had a better grand final than Havard. Thompson needed to be in there. Mulhern needed to be in there. McMeekin, I can understand because he's an engine. He's an engine. He could do 80 minutes and he can drop to second row. Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Steph. I mean, Walmsley is a beast. But yeah. It's an unspectacular Ashes squad, and I'm being kind saying that. It's unspectacular.
An unspectacular Ashes.
It's playing safe. You can't play safe and hope to get near the Aussies. You've got to go left field, and you've got to shock them. You've got to surprise them. And it's just as Steph says, there's nothing like that whatsoever in this squad.
I have to say, Mr. Sale, I don't think I've ever heard you so vexed, sir.
I'm annoyed because I was, and I hope I'm wrong. I will come back to this and say, Steph, you were completely wrong. But I was really looking forward to the Ashes series, and I think we had to go into it with our best ever possible side that we could. The ones who've been bang on form. Could really, bit of youth, get ready for the World Cup as well, because this is, it's an Ashes, which is massive, but it's also a warm-up and a chance to blood our players for the World Cup and have a chance in that as well. And he's just gone with it's an attitude of a coach who it's his swan song and he just wants to go out with his mates. That's what this team screams to me off.
That's heavy. He's heavy.
There's a comment in there saying Havertz been consistent throughout the season.
Yeah,
consistency doesn't win you the Ashes.
No, it doesn't win you the Ashes. No, and to be fair,
I understand where that comment's coming from 100%. But you need something special, different against the Harry Grants and the the Clearys and the Reece Walshes. Reece Walsh coming up against that team. My God.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to watch the Ashes for. I want to see Reece Walsh.
Too right. Too right. But Shin Kazama, he's not anti-Wigan. He said he'd have Luke Thompson in before him. That's not anti-Wigan, changing one player for another Wigan player. He's just not impressed with Havard. Come on, mate, keep up. Right, second row. Batchelor was in the 32-man, as was Gannon, as was McDonnell, as was Nsemba. And we felt they were unlucky to be omitted at the time, Frankie Otton and Dean Hadley. He's gone with John Bateman, Kai Pearce-Paul, no surprise there with Kai Pearce-Paul, Callum Watkins, who we felt was unlucky to miss out from a loose forward perspective in the 32, but he's there now in the 24. Again, versatility, second row. But what he's done is he's picked two versatile, Callum Watkins and Bateman, who could, at a push, play second row or centre. I'm very conscious of time. We've got 5 minutes and we've got the draw to do for the tickets. So what I wanted to do here, very, very quickly, and I will might put this up on our social medias tomorrow. Okay, but how's like this? These are the facts, right? There you go. They're the facts. Okay. Now people say John Bateman's playing in the NRL. Yeah, for North Queensland. I'm sorry, but you know, in Dean Hadley and James Batchelor, we're talking about treble-winning British talent. If that's your argument, then none of the British lads should be in. So come on. Now, for me, and then you look at James McDonald, who absolutely rinses him. So for me, I'll put that up. He kept saying credit in the bank. I get that. I get it. As a coach, there's certain players that might not be the best in the world, but you know they'll do a job for you. I get that. I understand that. I do. However, Callum Watkins, okay. But I think this one, we might have another discussion about this next week when we get really into the Ashes. We might actually come back to the number 13s because we haven't got the chance to do that now. We'll probably pick up where we left off on next week's weekly because, of course, gentlemen, we've got to do the draw. We, of course, have got 2 tickets to give away to the game that Steph is no longer interested in. Talk about sell it. Well done, Steph. But we've got 2 tickets now. Based on the fact
it could be 1-0 to England as we go into it.
Based on the fact that my camera didn't work a minute ago, I'm really nervous that this might not work. So if this doesn't work, I do apologise. I'm going to try now to share the screen. Here we go. And actually, let's see how we go. Here we go. Wish me luck, boys. Wish me luck. Thanks for that. Thanks for wishing me luck. Really good. Here we go.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, Dave.
Oh, we're on. Right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Right, as you can see, 507 entries. You can see there all the members are in as per their membership. There they all are. Just quickly show you that. And of course, those who bought extra tickets, you're in, of course, extras as well. So you've got that as well. Fantastic. Right, here we go. Let's shuffle them up. We always shuffle them up. So, yeah, we'll keep shuffling them. Keep the suspense going. We've got 2 minutes left. Here we go. Right, let's do it. Now, I put it on 30 spins because we've got to make sure that it goes round everybody or else people will get a bit upset. So here we go. So the very, very best of luck. 2 lucky winners. Well, there's 2 tickets for 1 person here. So 2 tickets for 1 person. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? We're slowing down. Best of luck, everybody. Don't even try and see. There's too many entries, Steph. The winner is... Oh, I thought it stopped then. Oh, it's Helen Wilkinson. So Helen Wilkinson has won 2 tickets to go to Ashes 2 with the Super League Raw community. Well done to Helen. Many, many congratulations. We will be back for Super League Raw Weekly on Tuesday. Back to Tuesday, 8 p.m. next week on behalf of myself, Steph, Joel, who's not here, and of course, Reggie. We will see you next week. Bye for now.